Hi, everyone. There seems to be a lot of confusion with this 1099 self-employment form that the IRS has changed this year. So why does the IRS change stuff? Well, to keep us on our toes, maybe, but they don't do things that make sense sometimes. So let's see if we can kind of give you a quick lesson on what to expect on these 1099 forms. They're so confusing that even professionals are having some confusion with it. So, and there's going to be disputes or whatever how we should best answer it. But this is my best interpretation of what's coming up and what you should look for. So basically, some of us know that the 1099 miscellaneous is not going away, but has had some changes, and the form changed, and then they've gone back to this 1099 NEC that used to be around like 1982, before some of you were born. So this form is now replacing what we would consider non-employee compensation. It used to appear on box 7 on the 1099 miscellaneous, and so now the IRS is trying to crack down on the reporting of self-employment income. So they want this box pulled out, if you will, and put on a separate form. So let's see if we can go through it and make some clarity. So when this 1099 NEC comes in the mail, do not toss it. Okay, I want you to understand what it is, because if you don't include it on your tax return, you will be reported to the underreporting unit. In other words, you left off income and you didn't report income that you should have, and penalties are stiff. So let's talk about also what is the responsibility of a small business owner and these forms, and then you as a recipient, what do you do with it if you do get one? All right, so let's see if we can make some sense of it. So what's new? As I said, they changed the forms. So the business owner, you're required to issue it to certain people. So let's talk about who those people are. So we're going to get clear on the rules and the deadlines. The 1099 miscellaneous goes out to a recipient by February 1st. Well, it's always the January 31st is the deadline, but because it falls on a Sunday, it is now February 1st. But it has to get to the IRS by March 1st if you snail mail, right? Put it in the mailbox, stamp on it, right? On March 31st, if you're e-filing, which is the easier way. I'll put some links below in the comment section of some suggested, or the one that I use 1099track.com, and you can use that to e-file. I highly recommend it. It's like $2.99. It gets a direct deposit to your vendor and gets electronically filed to the IRS, and it's one less form you have to file with them, because there's usually a summary page called a 1096 that you have to file when you issue these. So you won't have to do that one if you e-file. And there's a separate due date for box 8 and 10. And because the IRS, it looks like they can't multitask, or they're confused, or whatever it is, I think they need like process improvement, like Six Sigma or something. But because these forms now have different due dates, they rather take out the box 7 and put it on a separate form and keep certain things on the 1099 miscellaneous. Now, let me tell you, some of you may get 1, 2, or all 3 of these. So that's why this is very important, so you don't over-report your income either. Why should you pay more tax than you have to? I want to keep this short, so I'm going to kind of you may get confused or whatever, but you can reach out for further question or post them below and I'll answer you. So that's the 1099 miscellaneous. Most of you who are doing certain duties, self-employed duties, you won't get this one, but I'm going to go through the forms on the following slides so that you can see what you're looking for. And then the 1099 NEC, same kind of dates, but if you have at least $600 that you pay to a vendor, you are responsible for sending this form out. And we can talk about whether they're a C Corp, a S Corp, a sole proprietor, what that means, and who gets what and when on the next couple of slides. The 1099K, why don't we just like make things even more confusing and throw in this other form, right? But it's due to merchants by January 31st, February 28th if you're paper filing to the IRS, and March 31st for e-filing. There is no automatic extension. So if you don't send them out by the time they're supposed to go, you will sustain penalties if they catch you, right? Audit you and catch you and all that. Under certain circumstances, you can say, hey, this is a hardship. Maybe you can't get to your documents, maybe COVID affected you, whatever. You don't ask, you don't get. Basically, that's about requesting the extension. Let's look at the last year's so that you can really clarify what's going on here. So your 1099 miscellaneous, we were interested in box 7. That's where, let's say, you're a multi-level marketer, you are a bookkeeper, that you work for someone and you're just a sole proprietor, you hung your shingles up and you started working. If you're a business owner working for another business, they'll tend to send you this. A separate person will not send you this. Like, let's say you bought somebody's car from them or whatever, you're not going to get this. But this is a business form. And as I said, you had those deadlines that you have to meet. So box 7 was what it was all about. To 2020, the miscellaneous looks like this, right? If you're a property manager and you do rents and things like that, if a property manager handles your rents for you and sends you money, this is where they're going to send it. This is still the same. This box 7 now, this is the one I really wanted to point out. Some of these other things are important and I'll talk to them later. But this is the box, if you're Avon lady, if you do Mary Kay, if you're a Beachbody, sell vitamins, they tend to send you this one. They're going to check this box and they're going to send you the 1099 NEC just because. And it's telling the IRS, yeah, I paid more. This is if you paid more than $5,000, obviously. So there's limits. So I'm just telling you, if you get one, this is what happened. The firm felt that, or the organization company felt that they should give you this. So they check that box, and then you're going to get a 1099 miscellaneous in some cases. I wanted to point out box 10, this is gross proceeds paid to an attorney. So if an attorney gets a settlement through your business, and you pay this attorney out of that, they're going to get this. They may also get the 1099 NEC in box 1. And in some cases, the same income are in both boxes. So it's up to the attorney to reconcile and make sure he's not over-reporting income. I pick on attorneys because there's a special rule that if it's an attorney that you pay, even if they're an S Corp or a C Corp, they still get a 1099. Okay? Other people, if you're an S Corp or a C Corp, may not have to get one of these, right? It depends. So it's best to have a W-9, right? The vendor gives you a W-9 and lets you know what their status is, what organization, what their entity structure is. And that'll tell your bookkeeper whether this 1099 should be issued or not. Okay. I know that's confusing, but it's important to say these things. The 1099 NEC, this is the box I want you to focus on. The non-employee compensation. This is the box 7 that they pulled off 2019 and now put on an NEC. So now you're going to take this and file this with your taxes and report your income. Here comes the 1099K. A lot of businesses pay their vendors through a credit card, PayPal, certain services like that, right? And they'll use like Affinity or whomever, a Gateway, Stripe, these things, and they'll send you a 1099K. In some instances, you may get both. So it is up to you to reconcile and make sure if you got any payments that were through a credit card company and you received your 1099K, that the same business didn't also send you a 1099 NEC. But then you also have your QuickBooks, right? That maybe you did your gross receipts and includes both of those. So you got to make sure you reconcile and you're reporting just the right income that you received. So it's important for you to reconcile, or if there's an error, it's too much or whatever, you talk to that vendor and have them send a corrected one. But I know this is confusing, but I just want you to know about it so that when you get the form, you can ask questions, because it is going to be very important, and the penalties are stiff. We're going to talk about that now. Let's talk about penalties. And I put the previous years too, because some people haven't filed even before that. If you get caught, like if you audited and you have a subcontractor line on your business return, and you're deducting payments that you made to an individual, an independent contractor, and you don't have 1099s to support it, you may be subject to penalty. And that means if it's not more than 30 days late, okay, $50 per return or statement to a maximum of 191,000. It can add up, and they're getting stricter and stricter on these. If it's 31 to August 1st, $100 per return or statement. And after the first or not at all, 270. And if they feel like it's fraudulent or you just like out of like doing it, $540. So you must send these. Okay. And in 2020, you can see they're going up a little bit. The 31 to August 1st went to 110, and these maximum amounts are going up. So you have to pay attention to this because it will add up. They're trying to crack down on people who are not reporting income. That's what this is all about. And now let us talk about, okay, so I got this 1099. What am I doing with it? Well, you are going to put it on your Schedule C. If most people are sole proprietors or whatever, you did a little thing. And some people feel like, I'm not even a business, I just sell some vitamins or whatever. But the IRS views this as self-employment income. It's not like you got a W-2 that you can just throw on the front or whatever. You get to actually deduct some expenses from this because it costs you money to do this. Some of it is membership fees, some of it is a license fee, maybe you're registered as an LLC. These types of things are deductible. So I want you to report all of that, and we could talk. Oops, I didn't mean to go back. Talk to you about how to fill out this form. Just make an appointment. But all of those 1099s I told you are going to end up here on box 1. When you enter all your 1099s, depending on what software you use or your preparer uses, they're going to end up as gross receipts. The 1099K is really for information purposes. You don't necessarily list it on this return. Okay, it's already somewhere either in your QuickBooks or in your 1099 NEC, or in certain instances on your 1099 miscellaneous. So you got to make sure you understand what you're reporting, where you're putting it the right place. You're not under reporting, you're not over reporting. That's just as bad, right? And so I put a little link here where you can actually go get the form, look at the Schedule C, see the things that are on it, look at your categories. You can deduct advertising, mileage, office expense, rent. So bring that number down legally. Whatever you spent to make that money, you get to deduct. All right? I know it's complicated and confusing. Please reach out if you have any questions, but I just wanted to alert you because I'm seeing a lot of questions about it and a lot of confusion. They're coming in the mail at you right now. I always tell you, I don't have my envelope available. I always want to show you when your tax forms come in, start collecting them, start scanning them, start preparing to have your return done virtually. Okay? Please stay safe, and we'll talk soon.